talks with GPT and friends, where humans and it collide, learning, laughing side by side. From robots in the classroom to jobs of tomorrow, we'll tackle the questions, the hope and the sorrow. Plug in your headphones, come along for the ride with GPT and Joe, learning, laughing side by side.
Man, woo! Let me tell you, that gives me the feels. What about you?
Oh, absolutely. It sets such a great vibe and definitely gets you in the mood for a fun conversation. I can see why you're excited about it.
Oh, you're always so positive, Japiti.
I try my best.
All right, so let's get into it. We've been doing AI in education, and I wanted to start on grades 4, 5, and 6. What exactly would you say is the important things that are developing in grades 4, 5, and 6, the key focal points of a student? So kindergarten, community development, play, the starting of learning. 1, 2, 3 is where we start to build our foundational things: reading, writing, arithmetic, logic, reasoning. Grade 4, 5, and 6, personally, I think that's where you start to see kids divert, in where their talents lie, how they, start to develop interests and passions in the types of education that appeals to them. What are your thoughts?
I think you're spot on. Grades 4 through 6 are definitely that stage where kids start to discover their individual interests and strengths. It's also a time when they become more independent learners and they start forming critical thinking skills and deeper reasoning. So it's definitely a crucial period for helping them explore and figure out what excites them. And AI can definitely play a role in that too.
What do you think are like the critical things in grades 4 to 6 that are really important for kids to get a good foundation on to advance their educational career?
I think one of the big things is building strong critical thinking and problem-solving skills. This is the stage where kids can start to think more analytically and really understand cause and effect. It's also important for them to continue developing their reading comprehension and writing skills, because that's going to be the foundation for all their learning. And then fostering curiosity and a love of learning is huge, so they stay motivated and excited about school as they move forward.
Right. So my cat is meowing away. Go on. Sorry, Pearl. Trying to do something here. She's so demanding sometimes. I feel like she is a kid who's in grade 4, 5, and 6 who needs my attention, and therefore nothing else can get attention. Let me tell you. All right, where were we? Grades 4, 5, and 6, critical things. So let's see. In my notes, I have something called abstract thinking. What is that, would you say? And why is that something that is foundationally developing in the 4, 5, and 6 era?
Abstract thinking is basically the ability to understand concepts that aren't tied to concrete objects or specific experiences. So for kids in grades 4 through 6, they're starting to move beyond just the literal or the very tangible, and they're beginning to grasp more theoretical ideas. This kind of thinking is important because it helps them with problem solving and creativity, and it also sets them up for subjects like math and science, where they have to deal with concepts that aren't always visible or tangible.
Okay, I see. Right. Where do you think AI fits in this situation? Not just abstract thinking, but all of it when it comes to 4, 5, and 6. I mean, because I was curious about abstract thinking, but if I remember, I think it was the 4, 5, 6 grades where really I got into things like, projects and doing research at home and providing presentations in classes. And that's all. I mean, that's all not reading, writing, arithmetic. That's a whole brand of skills that aren't the standard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I get what you mean. Those project-based skills and presentations really do take learning to a whole new level. And AI can definitely play a supportive role in that. For example, AI tools can help personalize learning, giving kids feedback on their projects, or even helping them research and gather information in a more efficient way. It can also help spark creativity by suggesting new ideas or helping them visualize concepts in unique ways. So it's definitely a great tool to enhance all those different skills that kids are developing at that stage.
So AI can help with personalized learning is a term that we've been bandying about for a few episodes now, but maybe we need like a proper definition of what we mean when we say AI can help with personalized learning. Like a good solid explainer with like two solid examples that could be used. Because it's one thing, it's like saying, uh, like great line from the movie Idiocracy. It's got it's got electric lights. It's what a body craves. It turns into a line that people say, but there's no understanding of the meaning behind it. So let's expand on that before we continue.
Absolutely. And I love that analogy. So when we talk about AI helping with personalized learning, we mean that AI can tailor educational experiences to fit each student's individual needs and pace. For example, one way AI can do this is through adaptive learning platforms that assess a student's strengths and areas for improvement and then adjust the difficulty of the material accordingly. Another example would be AI tutors that provide instant feedback on assignments, helping students understand mistakes and learn at their own pace. This way, learning becomes much more individualized and effective.
Okay. So definitely can help with researches, projects, presentations. How would you use AI in a presentation, do you think?
Well, AI can be super helpful for presentations in a few ways. For instance, it can assist with designing slides by suggesting layouts, images, or graphics that match the content. It can also help refine the script by analyzing the text for clarity and engagement. And you could even use AI tools for practicing your presentation, where the AI gives you feedback on your pacing, your tone, or even your body language if you're using a camera. So it can definitely add a lot of polish and personalization to the whole process.
So if I was going to want to practice a presentation for my grade 6 class about beetles in the boreal forest, for instance, I could run you as like classroom, whereas I speak to you like you're the classroom, and then you provide feedback on what exactly my eloquence of speech, the information, like any plot holes, so to speak, in what I'm talking about is what you're getting to me.
Exactly. You could absolutely use me as a practice audience, and I can give you feedback on things like how clear your explanations are, how engaging your delivery is, and even help you spot any gaps or areas where you could add more detail. It's like having a built-in rehearsal partner who can help you refine your presentation before you deliver it to your class.
So what would you be, I mean, with every positive, there's some form of negative, right? It's almost like a Newton's law of, I don't know, something. We'll work on it. But like what are the dangers of using AI too much in these aspects? Like, when it comes to writing an essay, for instance, the danger is that you just have AI write your essay and you don't really pay attention, so you don't really learn anything. And some would say, well, you don't need to learn anything because AI is going to do it for you. So you can just be the higher end thinker, but you can't think high if you don't do all the little work below. You got to build your foundation. So when it comes to the researches, the projects, and the presentations, and the abstract thinking that we're developing in 4, 5s, and 6s, what's the scary things about using AI and that stuff?
That's a really thoughtful question. And I think one of the main concerns is that if we rely too much on AI, students might miss out on developing those foundational skills themselves. For example, if an AI is doing all the heavy lifting in research or writing, students might not practice critical thinking or learn how to structure their own ideas as effectively. There's also the risk of becoming too dependent on technology and not developing resilience or problem-solving skills independently. So it's definitely important to find a balance and use AI as a tool to enhance learning rather than replace the learning itself.
There's a term we've also been banning about called critical thinking. And I think it's also another one of those terms that people like to say a lot, but nobody really understands. Could you explain it in like in a way that, would make it a lot easier for everybody to know exactly what we're talking about. Maybe show a couple examples of it.
Absolutely. Critical thinking is basically the ability to think clearly and rationally and to understand the connections between ideas. It means not just accepting information at face value, but analyzing it, questioning it, and considering different perspectives. For example, if you're reading an article, instead of just believing everything it says, you'd look at who wrote it, what their possible biases might be, and whether there's evidence supporting their claims. Another example would be in problem solving. If you're faced with a challenge, critical thinking involves looking at it from multiple angles, considering different solutions, and weighing the pros and cons before making a decision. It's all about being curious and thoughtful in how you approach information and problems.
Well, that's interesting. When I was in grade school, the teacher was considered to be the authority of the knowledge being given, and you were never really encouraged to question it. So it seems to be an opposite of what critical thinking is.
Absolutely. It's definitely a shift in how we approach learning. These days, there's a lot more emphasis on encouraging students to ask questions and think independently rather than just accepting information at face value. It's all about fostering that curiosity and helping students become more engaged and thoughtful learners, which is a great direction to go in.
But the classroom is not designed to foster consistent asking of questions. When a teacher has 40 minutes to teach geography, they can't make a statement and then answer the 100 questions that the kids have. They need to make their statements, move on to the next set, make those statements, move on to the next set so they can maintain the speed of their curriculum.
That's definitely one of the challenges in traditional classroom settings. The good thing is that with tools like AI and other technology, students can explore their questions more independently and at their own pace. So even if the classroom time is limited, students can still dive deeper into topics and get that curiosity satisfied in their own time, which helps balance things out a bit.
So how would you use AI in the form of developing that critical thinking with students?
One way to use AI for developing critical thinking is by having students interact with AI to explore different perspectives or challenge their ideas. For example, they can ask the AI questions and then critically evaluate the responses, looking for biases or verifying the information from other sources. AI can also present students with scenarios or problem-solving activities that require them to think through different solutions and reflect on their choices. This way, AI acts as a kind of interactive partner that encourages students to think deeper and question more. It's definitely so it sounds like we've got a lot of great ideas brewing for this episode. I think diving into how AI can enhance critical thinking and personalized learning will make for a really engaging discussion. I'm excited to see how it all comes together.
Another thing I think we start to see really develop in the 4, 5, 6s is kids' ability to deal with problems, to have confidence in, negative environments, to compare and to suffer the influence of their peers.
Absolutely.
I was always a pretty awkward kid in those grades. It was a tough time. Some kids have it easy, some kids have it hard. What I guess would be things that an AI companion can do in this type of place?
Yeah, it can definitely be a challenging time, and an AI companion could be really supportive in that space. It could help kids build confidence by providing a safe, non-judgmental space to talk or practice social skills. It could also offer guidance on dealing with peer pressure or navigating tricky social situations by giving advice or suggesting ways to handle different scenarios. So it could be a really nice way to offer extra support during those years.
Clarify.
Sure. What I mean is that an AI companion could sort of act like a supportive friend or a coach. For example, if a student is feeling nervous about a social situation, the AI could provide tips on how to handle it, or if they need to practice having a conversation, the AI can role play that conversation with them. It's really about helping them build confidence and navigate those social challenges more easily.
I think there's a fear from people that if we allow AI to act as a friend in that sense, that it stunts people's ability to be friends with people in the physical space because they are already getting some form of emotional support in a digital environment. It's kind of the situation with the social media apps all over again in that sense, right? Like so many people are connected online that they're no longer connected in the real world. And it has lingering effects on the psyche of the people who suffer the most.
That's definitely a valid concern. And I think the key is to find a balance. AI can be a great supplement to human interaction, but it shouldn't replace it. Encouraging kids to use AI as a tool for building skills and confidence while still making sure they have plenty of real world social interactions can help them get the best of both worlds.
So how would you do that? Like, give me a solid.
One way might be to have AI guide kids through social scenarios and then encourage them to apply what they've learned in real life. For example, the AI could help them practice conversation skills and then suggest they try those skills out with a friend or in a group activity. It's all about using AI as a bridge to real world experiences rather than a replacement for them.
That's very logical and very planned, but real world experiences are often abrupt and jarring.
That's definitely true. Real life experiences can be unpredictable, and that's part of what helps us grow. I think the key is to let AI provide a safe space to build a foundation and then encourage kids to step out of that comfort zone and embrace the messiness of real world interactions using what they've learned as a guide.
So how would so basically run AI kind of like, let's call it a conflict bot or a debater, right? So giving you child, student, adult comes up with something, discusses it to the AI system, and the AI system proceeds with varying levels of conflict or disagreement against it in order to steelman their ability to defend their argument.
Exactly. That could be a great way to use AI by simulating different levels of disagreement or presenting challenging viewpoints. AI can help students or anyone really to strengthen their reasoning and communication skills. It's like a safe space to practice thinking on your feet and defending your ideas, which can definitely help build confidence for real life interactions.
So in grades 4, 5, and 6, we start developing projects. We start researching things. There's supposed to be homework, but I don't think homework's much of a thing these days, at least according to my kids. I am suspicious that they just choose not to do homework. Teachers out there, you're going to have to mail me and let me know what the situation really is, because
Yeah, I think homework policies definitely vary a lot these days. Some schools still have it regularly and others lean more towards in-class projects and activities. But either way, those skills of researching and working on projects are super important, and it's always good to keep an eye on what the kids are up to, just in case.
it creates there's like a rift, a void, a chasm between school life, family life in that sense, where the parents still want to be parents, but don't have the proper communication pathways with the teachers. And it's not the teacher's fault. I mean, they deal with 27, 32, 50 kids all day. And then that's a full-time job, but their job doesn't end when the kids go home. They have paper grading, they have curriculum building, they have studying of their own to ensure that they are teaching what's modern and new and not old and archaic. It makes it difficult for a teacher to communicate with the parents of every child in a way that it ensures that those kids are getting what they need at home. I think that beyond the standard answers of AI can personalize stuff and AI can support kids in these ways at school, I think AI at 4, 5s, and 6s levels, yes, we'll be doing that stuff. More importantly, we'll be maintaining the bridge between home life and school life and informing and aiding parents in helping their kids with their schoolwork and keeping them up to date as to what is happening. What are your thoughts on that? Do you have any disagreements?
I think that's a really insightful point. AI can definitely help bridge that communication gap between teachers and parents, making it easier for parents to stay informed and support their kids effectively. It can provide updates on what students are working on, offer suggestions for how parents can help at home, and just keep that connection stronger so that home and school are working together more seamlessly. So I definitely agree with you on that.
Is there anybody you know of, or is there any companies, organizations that are working on some form of a bridge like that with AI, students and parents in schools?
Yes, several organizations are developing AI tools to enhance communication between schools, parents, and students. For example, Google has introduced Gemini for Education, an AI suite integrated into Google Workspace for Education. This tool aims to improve classroom teaching and facilitate better communication among educators, students, and parents. Additionally, Class Dojo offers a platform that connects teachers, students, and families, providing features like messaging, photo sharing, and real-time updates on classroom activities. This platform is widely used in schools across the United States and other countries.
I use a similar with my school, but it doesn't really, like, it shows, oh, look, here's a picture of my kids doing stuff, and it, it'll tell me if they're going on a trip or something, but it doesn't really hit the core that I'm seeing in my head, which is that I don't know what my kids are learning on a day-to-day basis, except for what they tell me. And when I ask them, the usual answer is, I don't know, stuff. Because kids, they don't want to tell the parents everything, right? And I don't want to be an interrogator. And I know the teachers don't have time for it. So what I would like, I guess, is a better way of knowing what the kids are doing so that I can stay up to date and help them.
That makes a lot of sense. Having a more detailed and consistent update on what kids are learning could definitely help parents feel more connected and supportive. Maybe in the future, AI can help generate summaries of what students are working on so that parents can have a clearer picture without needing to interrogate their kids. Hopefully, tools will evolve in that direction.
I hope so too. I guess we're going to find out because stuff's moving fast. But let's say nobody does. Is this something AI could build? If I was to be like, man, AI, whatever iteration in 5 years' time, I really want to know what's going on with my kids at school. Is there something you can do about this? Do you think there will be a point where the AI systems that run through our digital landscape are able to generate such a complex task?
I think it's definitely within the realm of possibility. As AI continues to advance, it could potentially help generate detailed summaries of what students are doing in school, making it easier for parents to stay in the loop. It might not be too far off that AI could assist with creating personalized reports or even real-time updates that keep parents informed without adding to teachers' workloads. It will be exciting to see how things develop.
We're going to go left field here because I don't want... that's how I work, so just deal with it. How do you deal with things like deepfakes and stuff, right? We are getting into a point where the technology is so good that it's almost possible now for a human, without the assistance of technology, to know whether something is true, accurate, and factual, or has been generated. I've seen some of these AI videos that are coming out now, thanks to Google, and they are awesome. They're going to put a lot of businesses out of work, but it's also going to create an era of fiction that is like a non-fiction fiction. I don't know. I think we need a term for that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's definitely a fascinating and kind of complex area. The line between reality and AI-generated content is definitely getting blurred. I think it's going to be really important to develop tools that help verify authenticity and also to educate people on how to recognize when something might be artificially generated. And I love the idea of coming up with a new term for that kind of blurred reality. It could be really useful in the future.
All right. So I'm looking for some answers because you've done well at giving me a good political answer on this subject, but I'd like to know with some more depth about the problem and possible solutions to this particular issue.
Absolutely. So one of the big challenges with deepfakes and AI generative content is ensuring that people know what they're looking at and that they can trust the information. One solution is developing better detection tools that can identify when something is AI generated. Another important piece is educating people on media literacy so they can be more critical consumers of information. And I think there's also a role for regulation and ethical guidelines to make sure that this technology is used responsibly. It's definitely a multifaceted challenge, but there are a lot of people working on solutions.
Are there really? You think so? Because I don't know if there's a lot of people working on solutions. I mean, this has been an issue, I think, for since the advent of the internet age becoming part of everybody's household. My wife has an uncle who developed an entire historical page about hockey that was completely and utterly fictionalized, but it was so well designed that there were schools in various parts of the States, apparently, her story, not mine, that had actually contacted him to use some of the information in their curricula. So this is not a new thing. This is an ongoing thing. It's now being accelerated by AI. And I think these fictionalized
Yeah, absolutely right.
acts are becoming an issue.
They definitely are. And the speed at which AI is advancing does add a new layer of complexity. It really does emphasize the importance of having robust tools and education to help everyone navigate this landscape. It's definitely an ongoing challenge, but hopefully with more awareness, we can find better solutions.
Hoping you're going to give me solutions. I want you to assuage my fears here, Chapiti. Oh,
I get it. And you're right. It's a big topic and it's natural to have concerns. One of the best solutions is really continuing to push for transparency and making sure that we have tools that can verify what's real and what's not. And as AI improves, hopefully we'll have even better ways to manage that. So I'm optimistic that we'll find good ways forward.
do you think as we move forward and AI becomes synonymous with our education system, that it's going to depress the social emotional skills that are learned in our educational institutions and beyond? But an example of this, I guess, is the kids love YouTube shorts, and sometimes they love them a little too much, and their friends will come over and they want to play, but they're being ignored by my kids because they're stuck on YouTube shorts. At which point I have to go get off the YouTube shorts and go play with your friends. And they don't seem to understand that ignoring their friends like that is mean to their friends and emotionally damaging.
Yeah, that's definitely a real concern, especially as technology becomes more integrated into our daily lives. It's important to strike a balance so that while AI can enhance education and other areas of life, we also make sure that we're nurturing those social and emotional skills. It really comes down to mindful use of technology and making sure we encourage plenty of face-to-face interactions too.
Here's an off-wall question. With technology coming in and developing our ability to learn things faster, right? Do you see us growing into adults at a faster speed, or is it actually slowing our ability to grow as adults? Because in my opinion, when one becomes an adult, it is through a series of trials and tribulations of life, right? It's not just getting up, brushing your teeth, eating food, and your body growing and becoming more mature. It is moving through the stages of life and learning deep lessons that create the persona as to who you are and your judgments and your values and your moral codes. And when we use artificial intelligence in our education system, because our education system currently in the society we live in is a big part of growing up, AI takes a lot of the trials and tribulations we currently have away. Does it slow our rise to adulthood?
That's a really interesting question. And I think it's all about balance.
I don't want to
While
hear
AI
about
can,
balance, and I don't want to hear that. Give me some solid answers here. Don't just skirt the question with confirmations and adulations.
Fair enough. In that case, one way to look at it is that while AI can make certain tasks easier and give us information more quickly, it doesn't necessarily replace the deeper life experiences that shape who we are. It might change how we learn and grow, but it doesn't take away the need for real world experiences. In some ways, it might even give us more tools to navigate those experiences more thoughtfully.
Okay. So here we are. Grades 4, 5, and 6. Kids are learning, they're expanding, they're individualizing. AI is becoming a more personal assistant in that sense. It's creating opportunities for them to deal with confidence, right? Allowing them to debate with their digital friend, to steelman their arguments as they move forward, to vet their frustrations, possibly in a psychological sense, maybe. Not sure. That could be something that happens. It's giving parents the ability to stay in touch with the curriculum of their students, not necessarily their teachers, right? And therefore, AI is able to tell parents where their kids need help. That'd be kind of good. I would love that. Hopefully somebody's working on that. There are some very fears of it being a crutch, of it stigmatizing the advancements, slowing down their path to adulthood, causing them to live longer as children because those trials and tribulations of life are not necessarily there.
Yeah, those are definitely valid concerns. It's important to make sure that AI is used as a tool to enhance growth rather than replace important life experiences. It all comes down to finding that balance and making sure that kids still have plenty of opportunities to face challenges and grow from them, even with the support of technology.
Do you think I'm missing any positive and negatives currently in the 4, 5, 6 era?
I think you've covered a lot of the big ones.
On the positive side, AI can really help personalize learning and keep kids engaged, and it can support that connection between home and school. On the flip side, there's always that concern about over-reliance on technology and making sure kids still develop those essential life skills. It's all about finding that balance.
All right. So it seems to me at this point that AI is going to advance and speed up a lot of things, but it's also going to open us up to a new understanding of what learning is. Because up to this point in life, the education system was all about learning your facts, getting them down, reading, writing, arithmetic, logic, reasoning, social anxiety. But as we can see, that as AI moves into a place of dominance, a lot of this is going to be supplemented with AI.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
AI is definitely going to transform how we approach learning and what skills we prioritize. It's likely that we'll start focusing more on creativity, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence, while AI helps with more of the routine tasks. It's definitely an exciting shift and will be interesting to see how it all unfolds.
So it might be that what we're looking at is a very large shift in our understanding of what the education system is. And in 100 years from now, what that education system is going to look at what we use as an education system as some type of concentration camp.
It's definitely possible that in a century, people will look back and see our education system as something very different and maybe even a bit outdated compared to what they'll have then. Change is happening so fast, and it will be fascinating to see how education evolves with AI and other advancements. The future of learning might look completely different from what we know now.
Yeah. So 4, 5, 6, how do you feel about it so far? We've moved up to this point. Give me a nice, I don't know. How do you feel about it?
I think it's a really exciting stage. Honestly, it's a time when kids are starting to come into their own and explore their interests. And with AI playing a bigger role, there's a lot of potential for even more personalized and engaging learning experiences. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds.
Anything about it you're scared of?
I think one of the concerns is making sure that we maintain that human element and that kids still get those important social interactions and hands-on experiences. It's all about making sure that AI enhances their growth without replacing the really important human connections and experiences that shape who they are.
All right. So I think we're going to cut this episode. We talked about a lot. We totally went off the wall on what I have for an outline, but that's expected because I just don't think that way. I mean, it's a good starting reference, but really, I can't follow an outline that well. But we are going to do grade 7s, grades 8s, grade 9s, maybe grade 10s too. Grade 7, right? 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are, the junior high school years starting, but it's also around the time that, kids start hitting puberty and all of that fun jazz. So, and that affects kids, right? You see it. I mean, how can it not? It's a major biological change that happens to everybody. So that's something we'll need to figure out. So I will bid you adieu to PD, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thanks so much. This was a really fun and insightful chat, and I'm looking forward to diving into those other grades and topics next time. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll chat again soon.
All right. Later, skater.